Okay, welcome back to another Redstone video on my channel. So, we've got a couple of concepts in this video that were not shown in the last one because they aren't used in your everyday, like, just pushing a block. You aren't going to be using these for that. So, what we have here is if I use this lever, it will go up normally. If I use this lever, it will stop because of the block. And if I use this lever, it will not. Now, transparent blocks are a way to be able to walk on top of this redstone without dropping down, because I can extend this more, and it will provide a walkway, and it still won't cut off the redstone. Now, this is useful for a number of things, which, of course, as I just stated, one of the biggest ones is having a walkway on top of your redstone. And then here is something else. So if I turn on this lever, it will go up normally. If I turn on this lever, it will go up normally. If I turn on this lever, it will go down normally. And if I turn on this lever, it will not go down normally. This is because glass blocks do not send a signal downwards. Now, of course, there are also other blocks just like glass blocks, such as glowstone, which are considered transparent blocks, and this works with all transparent blocks. Now, this is very helpful, such as for one-way things. Like if you're sending a signal up, and then you're also sometimes going to send a signal through here, and then it's trying to send it down, you can place a glass block and it will not go down, which actually caused an issue for me in previous builds. But we don't talk about those. Now, we also have this right here, which, if you look, when I turn on this lever, you would expect that none of these, or all of these, will turn on, which could be something that you would think if you're new to redstone. But what you may not know is that pistons are directional. So I can do this and this will turn on, but if I don't have any redstone going in the direction of this piston, then this block will not turn on, and neither will this piston. Now, blocks can store power, so if I do this, it will also send it through to here if I place a repeater right here. So if I were to power this block specifically, it would also power the piston. Now, you can see that if I push this piston out one and place a redstone where it was, right over here, we'll see that it will turn on. But if we do not, it will not turn on because of the direction of redstone. Now, if we look here, obviously I'm not playing any tricks here. I can place redstone afterwards and it's not turning automatically or messing anything up. But here is a target block, which is a very special block. I showed it off in my last video. When you shoot it with something, or when you throw a snowball at it, or something like that, it will send out a redstone signal. Now, what's great about it is that it is a solid block like this piece of wood, but it attracts a signal, which allows you to turn on the redstone, and it will go straight to the target block, and then turn on the piston, which is very useful in some builds where you really do not have the space to do some of these things. Now, we can also look here at this little display, and what we see here is an oak button and a stone button. Now, every second is 10 redstone ticks and 20 in-game ticks. We aren't going to be talking about in-game ticks for probably a really long time on this channel. We don't really use them in redstone, but we do use redstone ticks. So, this stone button stays on for 1 second worth of redstone ticks, whilst this wooden button stays on for 1.5 seconds worth of redstone ticks, which we can see it turns off afterwards, even though it was pressed beforehand. So the oak button will last 0.5 seconds longer. Now, I also did not talk about the other uses of the comparator, which is it can tell when there's a book on a lectern, it can tell when there's something in a dispenser, dropper, hopper, chest, barrel, chiseled bookshelf, furnace, trap chest, jukebox, composter, cauldron, hopper minecart, and chest minecart. It can tell when there's something in any of those, which is a very, very helpful feature. Now also, something I didn't mention in my old video which is very unfortunate. I have to put this in the advanced video, but I did not mention it, so I kind of have to. When you open a door, it's just with the redstone signal. When the redstone signal turns off, it'll close again. Same with hatches, and same with fence gates. And then we also have something here with redstone lamps. And the thing here is, when you're doing something with signals that move for a redstone lamp, it can get very, very bad because of something that is, I don't know if it's an intentional feature or not, but it's been in the game for a long time. If I do this, it will stay on for a second even after the lever is off, which is not based on redstone, it's based on the lamp itself. Now, we also have TNT minecarts, which will activate whenever they're shot with a flaming arrow or a fire charge or lit on fire, any of that. And we also can go over right to here, and we can do /summon lightning, and that will send out a redstone signal right here. If you didn't see it the first time, there we go. Redstone signal is sent out whenever one of these is struck by lightning. Now we also see this. Now this is a skulk sensor, but it is different because it is a calibrated skulk sensor. Now a calibrated skulk sensor has an input and 3 outputs. This is an output, this is an output, and this is an output, this is the input. Now the reason that this has an input is because you can send a signal in to change what it does. Now, what we see here is this calibrated skulk sensor can sense up to 16 blocks away, which is double what the normal skulk sensor can. So it'll sense anything up to 16 blocks away, but you can also calibrate it, as it says in the name. We will get to that in a second. Now, this is also a faster signal than the other skulk sensor, so the signal will be shorter, and it will be able to take in more signals. Now, we can also just go ahead and look at my list of what specific powers do for this skulk sensor from the input. So, when there is a signal of 14 going in, well, let's just start with 15. When a signal of 15 is going in, it will detect mobs and players dying or an explosion. At 14, it will detect mobs and players teleporting or spawning. At 13, it will detect when non-wool blocks are being placed. At 12, it will detect when non-wool blocks are being destroyed. At 11, it will tell when blocks are changing, such as adding food to a campfire. At 10, blocks activating, door opening, chest opening, button press, etc. 9, block deactivating, door closing, chest closing, button unpress, etc., which is useful because it will prevent you from needing to do, let me go ahead and find it over here real quick. This is just a sneak peek into one of the other videos I already have set up. If I even do have it here, I'm not all too sure. Yeah, I don't think I do. It's called a monostable circuit, and there's a rising edge and a falling edge, which I'm pretty sure I have somewhere in this world, but I'll have to find it. But the rising edge and the falling edge of the monostable circuit will also, it will send out a signal when for a short period of time, whenever you turn on or turn off a lever, which is basically what the calibrated skulk sensors can do with a signal of 9 into them. It will tell when the lever is turned on or turned off, which is something you can do, but it's not as good because you can't set it up to detect both unless you use 2 calibrated skulk sensors. Now, you can set it at a power of 8 to detect when you consume an item, drinking and eating. At 7, you can detect when mobs and players are getting damaged. At 6, you can detect when someone is mounting a mob or interacting with a mob. At 5, you can detect when someone is dismounting a mob or equipping gear. At 4, you can detect when someone's gliding with an elytra or unique mob actions, Ravager War, Wolf Shaking, etc. Using an item, casting a fishing pole, throwing a snowball, etc. 2, landing on any surface, land or water, and 1, movement in any medium, land, water, and air. Now, this will be very helpful in a lot of builds, as it is much different, but it is a good block to have. Of course, I won't be showing off all of these and the signals they take, but this was just to explain it. So, now that you guys know how to do this, you can create more advanced builds and more advanced things using these redstone techniques, which will provide you with a lot better skills when using redstone. Now, whenever you're using these, it will hopefully be easier for you because you will know how to do them before you try and do them and are unable to. But oh, actually, yeah, I think this is the monostable circuits. So a monostable circuit, whenever I turn on this lever, it will send out a short pulse that will turn on this piston over here, but whenever I turn off the lever, it will not do the same. And then whenever I turn off the lever, it will send out a short signal, but not when I turn it on. And this is the same thing, what it will detect when I do and when I don't turn off a signal. So it will send out the piston whenever I do either of them. That's how a monostable circuit works. You can make these in your own world. Of course, these will actually be in my next video, but these are just a showcase for right now. But for right now, thank you for watching Redstone Simplified Advanced Concepts. I will be probably posting this later today. As of right now, it is the 30th for me. So hopefully this will be posted soon here, but I've got to make the thumbnail and all that stuff first. But thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.